Hey, everyone. I wanted to, in fact, talk to you about freedom and how important it is, right? So, like in freedom is when you achieve all the things you need in life, whatever it is that you want, right? So, like, say a woman's going to marry, she needs freedom, right? To go out and meet her husband, right? If a woman wants to get a job, she needs freedom, right? Freedom. If a woman, whatever you want to do in life, you need freedom. So, in that, I want to talk to you about freedom, okay? And how important it is and how it works. So I got this revelation today talking and thinking last time I spoke to one of my blood family, right? Well, it works like this. Okay, forgiveness is in fact key, right? And what's ever so important is that you're never held bound to a person who doesn't know how to forgive. That's very important because you'll end up in a seat that says misery loves company. And I have made it very well known that I'm not company of that at all. But this is where it leads you if you don't know how to forgive. So I'll give you an example as my sister, I'll give you an example. Okay, I branched out to go out to meet my own family because in my family, my siblings, we would always bicker and fight. And it was because they would tell me who I was. And everything that they said about me was lies. Like, no one knows me better than me, right? If someone says you're this and you're that, and they're way off on that assumption and perception, you gotta be saying, no, that's not who I am. And they just don't get it. And they keep on saying that and keep on saying that. You're gonna walk away from that, right? Because nothing worse than to sit around and bicker with people that don't care to get to know you. And they're still holding on to something that they think that they know. So I can understand Jesus in his little sentence, go away, I don't know you, right? So it works like this. So the example is, in 1998, I used to work really, really hard, really hard. I've been working since age 12. And the last job I had was heavy labor. And if I would have stayed there, I probably most likely would have ended up dead because I worked just way too hard. But I didn't stay there. I took a more laid back job and a job that I was happy with. And that worked well for me, right? So in 1998, something happened with me, my sister, and she says, why did you do that? And why did you do this? And I said, well, I'm sorry. And I tried to explain it to her. I was like, listen, I've been working day and night, and I, in fact, did something nice, and you didn't even thank me for it. You didn't even appreciate it, right? And she was bickering back and forth, this, that, and the other. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take my presents away from yours, and I'm going to take what I stopped over to give you away too. And I'm just going to leave because I didn't want to bicker and fight. So that went on most of my life, bickering with my siblings. So when both of my parents passed away, I knew that I was clear with everyone in the family as far as, if they held any grudges, I made sure that I would apologize. Well, I'm sorry. So then God finally showed me the truth that their perception about me was in fact false. The lie was, oh, you're selfish. Yeah, you're selfish. And I said, no, I'm not selfish. So one time I was working, and as I was working, someone said that to me. And so I listened really, really closely to the angels, and they said, you're not selfish, you're selfless, right? So that wasn't enough. My conscience wasn't clear because they kept on saying that and kept on judging me and so forth. So finally, I said, you know what? I evaluated everything. I said, all of my siblings all got their own families and their own children. Both of my parents are deceased. I'm going to go out, get my own, right? And so that lie, he proved to be false. And the world is, in fact, my witness on that. I remember when he cleared my conscience so it would never, ever bother me again. I was sitting outside a coffee house, and there was a row of tables of different stores and restaurants, and all people in community knew what I was suffering, right? They were all there with their families and their children, and they were eating and drinking. And I gazed over there, and I was starving for 5 days because of this abuse and so forth. Abuse, discrimination, and waste, right? So I was sitting there, and then finally God told me to zoom in. He says, now look, what do you see? So I'm looking. He says, what do you see? And I'm looking. What do you see? I said, well, I'm starving. No one said hello. No one said hi, and they all know who I am. He says, did they offer you one drink? Did they offer you one water? And I said, no. Now who's selfish? Who's selfish now? He says, daughter, you were never selfish. You were selfless. And that was the truth. I was selfless. So that was the day that my conscience finally became clear of that very, very lie. And people can call me selfish all they want, but in it, I'll never let it sit on my conscience because I've already been shown by God that I wasn't. So knowing that little story, I'll get back to freedom. So in freedom, if I tell someone I'm sorry, that sets it free. It sets it free. But they have to accept and give forgiveness. Forgiveness. And if they don't give you forgiveness, know this truth. Don't even associate with them. Why? Because your very seed will be misery. And the only relationship you'll have with them is misery loves company, and you'll be their company. Now, I knew this truth. So here we are. It's been 10 years, maybe something, I don't know. But I'm talking to my sister, right? And same thing, bigger, fight, argue, all, whatever. And then finally she goes, Tina, do you remember that time when you came over with all those presents and so forth, and then you just up and left? I said, Rita, that was 1998. 1998. And she's still holding grudges. And I said, I remember that day. I told you I was sorry. But she never forgave. Never. How do I know? Because here we are many years after, and she brought it up. So in this truth, we need to know that in life, the way that we become clear is to apologize, which I did, And it's up to them to receive it. Yes, they have to receive the apology, my friend. And if they don't, it has nothing at all to do with you. It has to do with them. They have bitterness, grudges, and unforgiveness in their hearts. But I'm not going to be bound by someone else's problem of unforgiving or not forgiving. And I'm sure as heck not going to spend the rest of my life walking in my promises among people who hate me and discriminate me and tell lies. No, I'm not going to. I see it every single day. People, community, public, they all gather around. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. Oh, here she comes. Let's do this. I've already seen enough of that. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. At a table. God said, I was never selfish. They were. They were selfish. Why? Because I made the most honorable, respectful choice. And I achieved happiness all by myself. People don't understand. People that don't know how to be alone don't understand the ones who are. They just don't, and they never will get it. And the truth is, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life among ignorant people that ain't going to get it. And the truth is, they don't want to get it. They just want to rob it. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life among those people. I've been praying day and night. They depart from me. I've been praying for 2 decades in isolation. They depart from me. To be among a people like that is disgusting. I call it disgusting. Like, I don't know you from Adam, and you gonna look at me like that? Like, who are you? Do I know you? No, I don't. And by the way that you, in fact, looked at me, I think you might have some problems you might want to work out. Those problems you have that you got to work out ain't my problem. So do you see? To clear your conscience, always ask for forgiveness and apologize. Because if you do not do that, you're going to be bound. You're going to be bound into a seat of misery. And this little one right here is not going to be in that seat because I'm not in the company of that. It's basically all very simple. You can't hold someone bound because of your unforgiveness. You can't. And it's that simple. And the very person that doesn't forgive, they got to go off on their own. They got to figure it out. They got to clear their conscience. They got to clean their hearts and leave it alone. But if you stay in contact with them, your only seat will be misery loves company. And I think I suffered this my entire life with my blood family, arguing, bickering, fighting, so forth, over and over and over again because they said, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And everything that they said was lies, false perception. And this was on my phone line. Arguing. No, I'm not. I am not. Back and forth. Oh, you're like this. You're like that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I am not. Right? And like, that happened to me for many, many years. And when both of my parents deceased and I finally looked around, I said to myself, well, I'm out of here, because I'm not going to sit here and spend the rest of my life bickering among a blood family that doesn't even know me, nor care to get to know me, because of the simple truth that who they thought I was never anything that I was. Till this day, my blood family, or part of my family roots and background, always judge me on that. And that's their problem. But if you want the evaluation, my friends, and if you want the truth, I was never selfish. I was selfless. And the truth was, they were the ones that were selfish, not me. Why? Because they were ever so bitter that I was happy and content being by myself. Now listen, I'm not talking no dirt on anyone when I say these things. I love my sister from a distance. I forgive her. I don't hold any grudges, whatever. But let me just say this. She didn't marry for love. She married because she didn't want to be alone. That's what she told me. Now, I truly hope that her and her family are truly blessed and happy, so forth. I don't wish anything bad. And I'm sure that by now they might have grown to love one another. Hopefully. Of course. But just because a person's choices are not the same as yours, and just because a person doesn't have a life like yours, doesn't mean you can judge them. Especially if the person is doing absolutely nothing wrong but living her life. So the lie about selfishness concerning me was nothing other than a lie. And the truth in that lie is this. They were selfish because I was happy being alone. And I achieved happiness all by myself. And they couldn't comprehend. They couldn't understand. They just didn't get it. And so like discrimination and abuse and so forth stops now pertaining to me. Because if you want to be honest with everything, it's gone too far. And I will not suffer that ever again. And if I walk around in community and public and they want to sit there and pose and look all happy, just whatever, I hope you are happy. I hope your family is blessed. But don't discriminate me because I stand alone. You know, it's back to the same story like socialism. Some people will be living death to, in fact, make you social. Like, if I'm a person that likes to be alone and I just want to be alone, and I don't feel like socializing and gossip, and this one talking about that one, and that one talking about that one, and scandalous, oh, well, let's do this and let's do that. I don't get involved in that because I honor and respect all people that say, just leave me alone. I won't be left alone. Right? And there's a certain type of people that I surround myself with, and there's a certain type of people that I open up to. And those are my people. And if you don't have those certain characters, don't ever get offended. Just respect. I just want to be left alone. The people that I draw near to are the people who care, who give you a warm welcome, who have your back, who love you and respect you in everything that you put your hands to do. They respect your choices. They would never judge you because of them. They would never tell lies on a false perception without any evidence to prove it to be true. Those types of people I don't associate with, and I sure as heck ain't gonna spend the rest of my life screaming against them. So, like, if one person says, leave her alone, it's very simple. Leave me alone. You'll know when you're loved, and that'll be the day that you love others. And I love everyone. And I'm tired of people looking at me like some it or thing, and I'm tired of people treating me as, oh, here she comes. Hurry up, everyone. Hide her face. We're guilty as all hell. Oh, here she comes. Hurry up, everyone. Do this, do that, do this, do that. You sit over there and you do that, and it's called fakeness, my friend. And I'm as real could ever be. And I like to associate with the ones who are real right back on me, because that's the only good relationships that will ever last. And so with all that being said, please do know the truth about freedom. If you're holding grudges and you're not forgiving someone and you have that yucky stuff in your heart, know a truth. You're your worst enemy, because in that, you're going to hold yourself captive. And you're going to be bound to misery, because it's the only reward you get when you don't forgive. And so me, in my walk, I know that truth. So when I say leave me alone, or get up out of here and like just back off, is because I'm not the company of misery. They all say misery loves company. I'm not the company of misery, because I'm not miserable. And there is also one saying that's that was said about tacos. You know, I'm not the company of misery, but I do walk among its path. And if I'm going to, don't judge me. Don't argue with me. Don't bicker with me. And I'll just close it like this. I went to a Mexican restaurant, and I pull up in, and I see the sign outside that says tacos are much better than pumpkin spice. Well, of course, wisdom talked to me then. I go in, I smile. Manager's real nice. How you been? Good. Oh, yeah. So we're talking. I'm like, sir, guess what? Your sign outside, it says tacos are much better than pumpkin spice, right? So I said, do you know what that means and what it's saying? I'm saying, I said, yes, tacos are good, but they need the pumpkin spice to give it flavor. And the truth of the moral of the whole bigger picture is everybody wants to be pumpkin spice. That's the truth. Believe me, my friends, the day you walk in spirit and truth will be the day that you understand me. And if you don't, I'm sorry, but I'm doing the best that I can to explain it to you. It is a very long, enduring suffering for me that I wish and hope and pray will come to a close, an end. And I'm getting closer to that more and more every single day. And I love everyone who's watched over and protected me and kept me safe. And I love everyone who's always been happy for me. And they know that. I love the ones that are always happy for me when I do well and get a victory. Because many people didn't know it. Every time I did get a victory, the only reward I got in it, as there were many, was tears, heartache, and pain in my heart. It was so hurtful, because every victory I ever had, I knew that it was so wrong that I even had to fight the battle in the first place. So I would let out a loud cry. And that was my reward for every victory. A loud cry. That cry comes out most of the time in every victory I have. And victories should never look like that. They should be celebrated with people who care and that are happy for you. I am 53 years old. To this day, I never saw it. But that's okay, because I know the loud cry cleans my heart instantly of every bitterness, every grudge, and every unforgiveness as soon as it's over. And that's how I clean my heart. So, this is in fact who I am, and I hope that everyone is having a lovely holiday, and I hope that everyone understands these truths. Like, I'm not banging down your door saying, let me in. I'm not banging down anyone's door at all. I'm just giving you some facts. If you want to be free, clean your heart. Get rid of that bitterness. Get rid of those grudges, that unforgiveness. And you'll be set free. And then walk in your own truth. Think, evaluate, clear your conscience. Because once you do, you too, my friend, will be free. So this is exactly how we do it. And this is the walk of freedom. And I want to say I love everyone. And I hope everyone is free too. Have a lovely day. Goodbye.